Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Cobra Moray hydrofoil. So, the Cobra Moray hydrofoil was first released in the United States back in 1985. It included a driver, lamprey, and the Moray was also sold in '86, and unfortunately, like so many others, were discontinued in 1987. So, we have a nice picture here of lamprey, a very kind of, you know, just general, uh, kind of like a ship commanding figure here. So we have a nice front view of the Moray, and then here we have a nice rear view. And here's our lever here that you can see on yojo.com. You pull the lever out, and then that would actually bring down our hydrofoils. Um, so that way, if you were actually putting it into water, you could have the hydrofoils down. Or, like so many of us, if you had um, just on the carpeting or whatever. And I do remember picking one of these up after my oldest daughter was born, and I think she had slapped some figures in there and that. And her own imagination. She didn't have the same imagination that I did. She was making a houseboat out of the thing. But it's funny, and kids have their own imagination. Um, so it is wonderful to see this. We have our torpedoes on each side, and then of course we have some machine guns on the back, a kind of turreted machine gun on the top here, and our missile launchers are hidden underneath, and then we have our plunger there to lift that up, and it is kind of nice. The ability to seat actually about five characters on here was really nice, as well as I believe we had pegs on here, so we could have what two or three more on each side. So we could actually get quite a few figures on here, and we have the cannons on the side here as well. Really nice, really neat design. I really kind of liked it. They used it on enough occasions during the cartoon and that. I always had the feeling kind of like GI Joe really needed to be kind of like in a Vietnamish kind of setting with the way we had gotten enough of the boats. Um, it just kind of felt like maybe it needs to be in that kind of a setting. So you know, because I'm trying to bring GI Joe into a Earth type world or whatever. How do we shape the world that we really get to use a little bit more of the boats as well? Um, that's kind of an interesting kind of take in my mind of how do we do this, and we'll have to kind of play this out here. So we have kind of done up like a lot of models. We have some spires here, so the weapon systems are there, and then the torpedoes itself. Now, like I said, when I had gotten one of these, it was a used one I had gotten off of eBay or whatever. Uh, so I never got it as a brand new thing. Uh, but it's interesting to see how these came, and us as kids, we got to put it together like a model, but it was still so very iconic and very much a toy. Um, and again, this is where I tried to grab a lot of my information off of. Having the blueprint here to be able to say we have this or that or whatever else. And we'll see what I all have put in here because it's like so many of these other vehicles. It's been a while since I've really visited a lot of this stuff. So as we go through this, you see me making changes and we just kind of go from there. All right. So for our easily broken or lost pieces. The more included uh, numerous small parts which were easily broken or misplaced, including a searchlight, two windshields, two side missiles, the torpedoes, the steering wheel, two seats, two storage covers, four M30 machine guns, four depth charges, and four missiles. So all that stuff is all extra pieces on there. And of course, when you have us kids playing with it, it is so very easy for us to misplace this stuff. So a nice picture from Sunbow. So we have two of these going across. Um, and then we also have for Action Force for all the people over in the UK, uh, what they're kind of used to seeing here. The Menace in Venice, and of course an old file card. So This says it's displacing 1.8 tons. Um, the actual weight is 3.75 tons on foils. It can go up to 48 knots. So exactly how many miles an hour, I'm not very good at that. So you'll have to excuse me on that one. All right. So range is 100% load. We have a 6-man crew. We have 425 nautical miles. Uh, we have a turret armament of two 50 caliber machine guns. We have coaxial machine guns with 50 cal coaxial machine guns. Okay, with 3,000 rounds each. We also have two 20 millimeter enclosed Vulcan guns, which would be the ones on the sides here. So we have this and this, um, with variable um, rate of fire and 4,500 rounds each. We have two 40 millimeter grenade launchers with 300 rounds each. So we must have grenade launchers just off to the side or something here. Um, let's see, 300 rounds each for those. We have one 60 millimeter top mounted lightweight armor piercing or high explosive charge mortar with 275 rounds. So this must be the mortar that they're talking about right here. And in ordnance, we have two short range surface to surface electro optically guided anti ship missiles, which are the yellow missiles on the side, I'm guessing. Hull mounted acoustic homing torpedoes, which are these underneath here, with 225-pound warheads and a range of 6,400 yards. So pretty impressive. Let's see what else. And then we have a newer card here. So let's see if there's any differences that we can note. A hydrofoil craft with hidden missile rack, deflector shields. So now we have shields on here. Depth charges and armament that rotate up to 360 degrees. Now this comes with the Cobra pilot. Most notably, if we look on here, it looks like Baroness is on here. We have Destro, some of the uh, oh geez, the dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts, yeah, are on here as well. Um, Looks like Torch and Ripper. Um, Almost looks like maybe Storm Shadow in the back, and I can't figure out who's on the other side piloting. That might be the regular pilot. So, um, kind of a nice mix of characters on the picture here. All right, we have high flow, 775 horsepower Destro V12 gasoline engine. We have port and starboard shore assault 55 millimeter cannons. So I think those were 40 millimeter. Now they're 55. Um, da, 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 40 millimeter. Yeah, no, 40 millimeter grenade launcher. That it was 20 millimeter Vulcan guns. Now they're 55 millimeter. So we've upgraded the guns a little bit. Angular launch surface swimming black ray torpedoes. We have carbon fiber reinforced laminated single V hull. So some of the upgrades. So we're noting that the cannons themselves are upgraded. Um, I think we lost something here because they're not seeing about oh, the 40 millimeter grenade launchers that are on the side. So in the newer card, we don't really see this part here. Um, but either way, however you want to look at it, it's still an impressive boat. So, okay, another newer version. And of course, the guns go back to looking how they originally did. Able to move with incredible speed in the water, the Cobra Moray hydrofoil can outrun and outgun all of our small armored amphibious craft. If you don't get a shot at the small craft before it rises up out of the water, you'd better know how to swim. Okay. Um, Interesting little take on it. And yeah, it does seem like it would be a very fast moving, very efficient vessel. And of course, this is from our GI Joe trading card game. And of course, now we have the Invisible Island here. Um, oh, someone's stealing a moray while they're being attacked by the. Oh, I want to say that those are the Mamba helicopters, and I could be very wrong on this. So, and later on, I almost want to say that I think um, these had been. They had captured enough of these that they started using some of these for GI Joe as well. So, um, I didn't realize that we had this as a novel. I may have to try and look this up. See what kind of adult novels we have. Is this is Ballantine young adult fiction way back when? It was just under $3. I don't know what it is today, but um, be an interesting book to maybe try and figure out how to pick up or whatever. So, all right, and of course this is our commercial spot, and you can see the Yojo logo on there, which is rightly so. Some variations, we have the standard Moray, the Moray, the Tiger Ray hydrofoil. And then we have a Stealth Moray and G.I. Joe Moray hydrofoil later on. Let's see if we can see pictures. Oh, that is a nice kind of camouflage version of it. That looks pretty good. The Stealth is black and blue here. And of course, the standard is red. If you ever notice, whenever I'm doing Cobra in Legos, I try to keep red for the Cobra color theme, mainly because of the moray. I thought that that was iconic, so that's kind of why I do what I do. And of course, in Argentina and Venezuela, I probably mispronounce that all the time, and I just can't stop. We have some different box art on those, but it is very cool. Another very iconic vessel to be able to look at and play with. So, all right, so here we have it for our Star Wars role playing game. This is at speeder scale. We have roughly 47 feet long, which gets us above 14.3 meters. It does have that crew of six, which is where I had kind of gotten that from. Passengers, I left that open because I really don't know what to put down for passengers. Quite often with G.I. Joe, we will see people just kind of piled on top of things or whatever. And I think they took inspiration from World War II, where you'll have like Sherman tanks or whatever, and they need to move people and material from point A to point B. So we have just infantry piled all over that tank as they're trying to get farther in as fast as they can. Same thing with the cargo capacity. I really don't know what to put down here, so I kind of left that open. I did give it a full coverage though. Uh, Altitude, of course, this is going to be in the water. I give it a maneuverability of 3D. Um, I figured if it's fast and maneuverable, which is kind of where it's alluded to being, I thought 3D was really a good idea. Um, we do have it at 48 knots, and apparently I looked it up to see what 48 knots equivalents or equates to for miles per hour, and I guess it kind of comes around to 55 miles per hour. These are things where I'll have to look things up when I'm doing this, and if I can think about it, um, I try to do what I can. All right, body strength. I give it a 4D. Just trying to keep it, you know, figuring that they were going to reinforce it somewhat. Maybe it's not as reinforced as I think it is, but I don't know. I think 4D is pretty respectable. Um, Let me know if you think it should change or whatever. We do have our torpedoes on here. So those are at Walker scale because I figured that these are meant to take out our bigger ships, which would probably be at Walker scale. And it's at 7D. Fire control, I didn't put anything in there. I think I'm going to put in a 1D for that. And we have our missile launcher with two missiles. So I gave it a fire control of 1D. This is at personnel scale, and that's at 70. So if you're attacking a beach or something, I figured it would be good for that. Looking at the size, it's probably like an for probably more for trying to do a landing or something like that. That's kind of why I put it that way. All right, so we have our light auto blaster. Um, this is front. It's a fire control 3D, damage of 3D. So coming up here, um, I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I was thinking. I have it at front, so I don't think I'm thinking of the turret. Something tells me I was thinking about that on the side here, and I don't think I've got anything listed there. So let me put that there as 4. That way we can um, kind of properly put that. And then we're going to change the arc to side mount. All right. I figured that that's probably a little bit better. And then I only have blaster cannons up on top. So I completely missed the grenade launcher here. Um, so what I could do is that we could do a little copy paste and then put in the grenade launcher. So our turret up here, um, twin blaster cannon. Actually, I think I'm missing a couple things here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a copy and a paste here. Copy. I'm going to paste this, and we're just going to continue this on here. Um, there we go. Okay. Trying to figure out exactly how to get this so that we can see what's what here a little bit better. All right. So, so we got our torpedo here. We have our missile launcher, which is those. We have our 4 light auto blasters, which are on our side here, um, and those are supposed to be machine guns. Let's put that at 5D. I think that would actually be better. Um, let's see. If that's our blaster cannon, front, speeder scale. Um, I'm going to put this actually at Walker scale, F4D. Um, because if this is our main, the main guns, I think that would be a better fit here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and um, turret, personnel scale. We're going to change that to speeder. Fire control, I think we're just going to give it a 2D. And we're going to make this to a 5D. Um, oops. Okay, so these are fire linked. Um, so each one individually would do a 4D, but because they're fire linked, that'll take it to about a 5D. All right, and then what we don't have in here is our mortar. So we're going to change this to our mortar, um, 40 millimeter mortar. Oops. Oops. Something doesn't look quite right to me on that one. Um, let me flip over here and see. I don't think you guys can see it, but something I can see here. Um, and if I can look at the file card, I'm trying to get this spelt right, but my spelling is never very good, so I just try to keep things real here. Um, they are okay. Like I said, I'm terrible at spelling, so There we are. Okay, speeder scale, fire control of 1D, 4D. Mortar rounds are usually pretty dangerous, so we're going to put it there. Range, I think, is probably good. I don't know. I don't know how far a mortar can really go out. And seeing that we're going to be on a boat and it's going to be kind of flopping around a little bit, I think 1D for a fire control would probably be very good um, as far as that goes. That's my take on it. Unlike, like when I just got done watching the Pacific, they're sitting it down on solid ground and it's a constant spot. Here you have a boat that's kind of going back and forth on the waves, so it could be kind of hairy. But I think we got all the weapons in here. So we do have the torpedoes, so let's kind of go through. We have our torpedoes, we have our missiles, we have our light auto blasters. There's the four of them, so that's these in the back. We have our blaster cannons, which are here. Um, and maybe I should call them heavy. Heavy blaster cannons. Um, I don't know. I'm looking at it as if I have two of them and if they're fire linked, um, then typically we do a little bit extra damage. And I hit the button, but I didn't hit it hard enough to put my bracket there. All right. Um, so I'm just trying to you know work this out here. And then we have our two light auto blasters, which are on the turret. So we have that, and then we also have our. So yeah, I think we got everything. I think that looks right. So um, I think that gets us where we need to be. It's an interesting boat, and really, this is Cobra's response in a lot of regards to the GI Joe killer whale, because a killer whale is almost like having a tank on the sea, and this is Cobra's fast, kind of rapid response uh, to the killer whale in a lot of regards. The only thing I can really see being in GI Joe's favor is the killer whale is not fully in water because it's a hovercraft. So yes, it could sit there and just rest in the water because it's something I learned about hovercraft not too many years ago. I actually met a gentleman in my hometown here that was actually making some hovercraft, and he's gone out of business by now, but because he was doing it on his own. But he said with the idea behind the hovercraft is you can actually turn the fan motors off and it'll actually just kind of float there like a normal boat. But then when you turn the fan motors on, it actually lifts up out of water and then you can kind of hover it across. Something I never realized before. So when you're talking about the torpedoes, if the hovercraft is actually going across the water, the torpedoes would miss. But if they're actually just sitting there, not using the fans and all that, they could hit them with the missiles. So an interesting craft. A lovable craft. It really is. A lot of adventures, I'm sure, have been done with this toy alone. Uh, and like I said, when we look at GI Joe, I think to really place it, Vietnam had really shaped a lot of the way the comics and the cartoon had kind of gone. I can't speak really for the comics, but the cartoon, there are instances in there where it does kind of take them back to like Vietnam. So it's always a wonderful thing for me. Um, Being a big fan of the cartoon because that's what I grew up with, and of course I always blame GI Joe for the reason why I got into being in the army for 2 years, and of course I made a promise I'd get out and stay out, so that's why I left. And you know, we do what we do. All right. With that being said, if you have any thoughts on how I'm doing this, or something you think I should maybe change or whatever, let me know in the comments. It's great to hear from everyone. Um, as the channel gets a little bit more views, more people are weighing in on some of the things that we do here, which is wonderful. Because, like I said, I in no way consider myself the authority on anything. Um, I'm just having fun doing this stuff and trying to bring it to you. So, if this is something that interests you as well, um, it gives you ideas. So, with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video.